Good morning, everybody. Very sorry that we have a little confusion with our invite versus Zoom link, and I appreciate those of you that have stayed on and your patience with us this morning. So anyway, I am Michelle Beebe. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer for Small Business Association of Michigan. We are a trade association that's been around for 50 plus years, and over 30 years have worked with the Blue Cross and Blue Shield partnership, as well as our agent channel. And, we just thought it was very important for all of us to come together as we plan for fourth quarter renewal season together and talk about getting, I think, a little deeper into different strategies that you can have when discussing renewals and hopefully new business when you're chatting with your customers. And so welcome and thank you for joining us. And I want to introduce to you Carrie Ottenweller. She is the Director of Small Group and Distribution. Is that right, Carrie? Am I saying that right?
Correct.
And then, yeah, and then Amanda Bobrovetski. I'm sure all of these faces are very familiar to you. She's the Director of Small Group Sales and Service. So I want to make sure that I introduce you to the experts here at the table. I appreciate both of you making time in your schedule to join SBAM this morning and do a little deeper dive on what we can expect for fourth quarter, all the resources Blue Cross has put together and Blue Care Network to prepare agents and our group partners for this renewal season. And with that, I will kick it off to you and let you get into your presentation. Thanks, everyone. And by the way, we will be fielding the chat box and answering questions there, and we will make sure that all of your questions are answered and make time for that at the end of the presentation as well.
Perfect. Thanks, Michelle. As Michelle stated, my name is Carrie Ottenweller. I am a director over at Blue Cross Blue Shield, specific to our small group business. So appreciate the time this morning to share some key insights and partner with all of you to make sure you're equipped going into fourth quarter here. As Michelle alluded to, I think it's no surprise to all of you are, facing some headwinds just from a rate standpoint as we look at our medical and pharmacy trends. So want to make sure that you guys are set up for success when it comes to your renewals as well as new business going into fourth quarter here. So as we look at the agenda here, a couple of things we wanted to hit on here is just make sure you have an understanding of, our support at Blue Cross for small businesses within the state of Michigan. Talk through just some support and service and what our model looks like. We've evolved over the last couple of years here. So just want to make sure you all have a perspective as well as the right insight and context to make sure you're supported through the renewal season. One thing we also want to tee up is we have just launched a new agent portal. So we do want to make sure you all have familiarity with that new portal. Just a couple of quick hits. We're not going to exhaust the portal, but just want to make sure that's top of mind, since that is a really, the key gateway to success within the self-service and supporting your small group customers. And then I'm going to turn it over to Amanda, who's going to get into, really the meat of some of the details here as we look at fourth quarter of this year, as well as going into 2025 and where we see ourselves from a rate position, as well as making sure you're equipped with, what opportunities are there from a product standpoint as you start to have those conversations with your small business customers. So with that said, jumping into some of the details here. So, as you look at, Blue Cross, small businesses as well as our agent partners are really an integral part of our organization. We're dedicated to support this segment of our business, especially as we faced, high rate positions going into the end of this year and into 2025. We are the market leader from an enrollment standpoint within small businesses in Michigan, with just under 70% market share, equating to around 200,000 contracts, over 20,000 small group customers, and just south of 400,000 members within our small group business segment. As I stated at the start, we have continued to evolve our support and service model within this segment to make sure that we're here to partner with you as agent partners in supporting your small group customers here. We've continued to invest in many key tools and resources from a self-service standpoint to ensure that you have direct access to manage and support your customers within this segment. And then we just continue to, deeply partner with key associations like SBAM and Michelle and her team to make sure we're continuing to think outside the box of how do we continue to provide solutions in the market that meet the needs of our small group customers. So continuing to, challenge ourselves and what do we need to do differently, think differently to make sure that this segment of our business is supported in the right manner moving forward. So continuing to make sure we're focusing on those key partnerships that we have within our organization. Kind of jumping into just making sure you're oriented of, what team do you have around you to make sure that you are set up for success, because we know you all have plenty of other dynamics going on in your day-to-day lives here. So want to make sure that, we make it easy for you to make sure you have access and awareness of who is there to support you within the Blue Cross team. So within our small group team, we've evolved, as I stated, over the years. Historically, we've been enabling our small group customers through our general agent partners, Action Benefits, or NextBen, and most recently, we have decided to insource that business. So what that means is we've now taken on and established our own small group sales and service team within our Blue Cross organization. So we've built a team within Blue Cross here that falls under Amanda and I to really make sure that we have dedication to our agencies. So we have, many of our agencies have a dedicated rep, depending on the contract size you have with Blue Cross Blue Shield in this segment. If you do not have a dedicated rep, we have established a small group sales pod team, so more of a round robin style to make sure you still have there's resources behind that pod day to day that are there to support you. So you should be well aware, if you're not, of what your dedicated rep is, or if you fall into that pod, please let us know. We can make sure that you are coordinated within the right team at Blue Cross. We also have analysts that support us behind the scenes to make sure we're continuing to evaluate data, trends in the market, making sure we're working to support this segment. One thing too, I think I've talked about the self-service, making sure that there's an ease of doing business with us. So that's a space that we are continuing to focus on. So I'm sure it's no surprise the term or the tool Blue Cross OneSource. So I know SBAM has a lot of expertise within this tool. We want to make sure that we're continuing to push on the experience that agents have within this tool. So something we are continuing to focus on, but excited about the positive feedback we continue to get within the self-service opportunity to leverage the Blue Cross OneSource tool to bring on new business as well as new business and manage your business within that tool. Hopefully you're all familiar with that, and I'm hopeful you're all having a positive experience in leveraging that. Just expand a little bit more on some of the roles we have within Blue Cross. So our SARs, or our senior account reps, those are your day-to-day point of contacts within Blue Cross. Behind the senior account reps, whether you have a direct account rep you work with or a pod you work with, there are many support functions within our organization that are dedicated to our small businesses, which also obviously filter directly to you as our agent partners. So we have our account service reps, we have our agent support specialists, and this is a new function within Blue Cross. So as we've started to deploy these self-service tools within our organization, so the Blue Cross OneSource tool, the agent portal tool, we have a team of resources behind the scenes that are focused 100% on those self-service tools. So ensuring that agent partners are trained and educated on these tools, troubleshooting of these tools. So making sure there's a function behind the scenes to ensure the best experience. Then we have some detailed support from a BCN or Blue Care Network standpoint from our field services team, and then our membership and billing areas. So ensuring that those functions are also there to support you as inquiries come in those specific areas for your organization or your customers. And then, of course, our partners here within SBAM, there to support you as well to make sure that you are having the most optimal experience in working with your customers. So in getting into the agent portal, I just want to make sure you're oriented within the agent portal. So like I said, I'm not the subject matter expert in launching the agent portal. I've had an opportunity to be very close to the agent portal because obviously from a small business standpoint, and working with our agent partners, this is really an integral part of being successful, is having access into the agent portal, as it provides you the different tools you need in order to support your customers in this segment of our business. So the agent portal was just launched this summer. So we did 3 different waves to register our agent partners for the new agent portal. So I'm hopeful all of you on the line here have received your registration email. If not, that's something we can help troubleshoot after the fact. But the 3 waves, the first wave was launched in June, and then in July, and then the last wave was just launched at the start of or the middle of August here. So all 3 waves of registrations for our agents have been deployed. The old agent portal, the one that you're on right now, does end. It will be we'll be shutting that down the end of September. So really wanting to make sure we make a big push here within the new agent portal to ensure you're all registered and feel comfortable within that portal. We're all really excited. We've made a big investment here, a much easier self-service navigation within the portal. So on the screen here, you can see there's really 4 primary things that we focused on when redesigning. We worked with our design thinking team to make sure that we're looking at it from all angles for the best experience. So personalized support for our agent partners, want to make sure it's obviously trustworthy, that we're constantly updating information, it's relevant to all of you. I think the one thing we kind of laugh about in our organization after we deployed this is the one area we've been getting the most positive feedback on is the search engine or the search toolbox, just to be able to type in, you're looking for a certain piece of material or a certain menu to look at. There is an awesome search engine feature within the portal to create easy access to pull information you need as you feel necessary. We want to make sure it's helpful for all of you. And then we also obviously want to make sure it's secure. So ensuring there's a secure environment for you and your customers and what data is processed and managed through that portal, or I should say more hooked up to that portal, making sure that there is secure access there. A few other things to hit on, we do have some new roles within the agent portal. So it's another component of the portal we're excited about is the different delegations and access to customers within the portal based on an agency's book of business. So there's obviously an agency role within the portal. There's now opportunities to have a delegate in the portal. So really non-agent support staff that handle some of the administrative functions day to day. And then the new key role we have is the agency coordinator. So that individual really has superpower access to manage different access, invite different delegates. So now there is more of an opportunity to have control over the agency and who sees what within the portal to ensure that there is, the most optimal navigation and access to an agency's book of business within their own 4 walls of that agency and who they want to see that within their given agency. There's a lot of resources, so I'm not going to go into too many details here, but they've pulled together a lot of great resources within the portal to ensure that all of our agent partners can digest and have quick access to different resource guides. The landing page is customizable, or is customized to you, I should say, once you log into the portal. And then there's some emails that have been deployed, especially to the individuals who are more of those power super users within the system, to make sure they're familiar with what's available and how to leverage the new portal and the most positive experience. And then the last thing, I'm not going to exhaust, I kind of hit on this before, is that everybody should have already received registration emails. So just really, really important that you and your agency feel like you are up and running. If you haven't been up and running in the portal, we want to make sure you get into the portal, because come the end of September, come October 1st, that old portal will no longer be live or accessible. So just really putting a push out there to ensure that you and your teams are supported there and have access into the new portal. So those were a couple of key reminders that we wanted to just set the stage on, of just ensuring you have the right tools and resources and support team around you to be successful as you enter into 4th quarter and into 2025. The last piece here I do want to make sure I hit on is, hopefully this visual isn't new to all of you. If it is new, I'm excited to make sure that you have awareness on it moving forward and access to it. So it's something we'll make sure the SBAM team, Michelle and team can get out to you, because it is a dynamic document. So you can actually click in, you can kind of see here, actually, if I hover over, these are all live links here. This represents all of the different solutions that Blue Cross has invested in for our fully insured book of business, which obviously incorporates for all of our small group customers, different point solutions that members have access to at no added benefit cost or additional cost to you or to those small group businesses. So something you as an agent partner, we want to make sure you're creating awareness in on the market, because some of these solutions just add a ton of value to individuals who may be managing multiple conditions or want just access to different types of care, like virtual care. So I'm not going to go into details on all of these, but we have a very robust portfolio around Teladoc Health. So when you look at different types of condition management, whether it's diabetes, hypertension, weight management, or on the virtual spectrum side of things, virtual primary care, urgent care, mental health care, a lot of great resources there. The only new solution that we are offering in the fully insured space starting next year is actually a replacement of our wellness vendor. So we are working now with Virgin Pulse, which I think they're changing their name to Personify Health come 2025. So more of just a correlation for all of you in the market. It's obviously Blue Cross Wellbeing branded, but I'm really, really excited about what we have to offer there from a Virgin Pulse standpoint. So just really important to keep these really nice value add options available to you as our agent partners, as well as to your customers and their members who might see a lot of value in accessing them. So as I said, this document is a great resource for all of you. It's dynamic, so you can pull up details here within each of the different offerings to have further discussions as you see appropriate with your customers. With that said, I am now going to turn it over to Amanda, who's going to give some additional perspective and feedback into what we're looking at from fourth quarter of this year, as well as going into 2025, to make sure you have a perspective as well as additional insight into having those conversations with your customers and feeling prepared going into renewal season. So with that said, Amanda, I will turn it over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and our appreciation to SBAM for hosting. We're really excited to have this opportunity to get in front of you. Many of you may have joined some of our previous webinars, so some of this might look familiar, but it's good to keep talking about it. It's going to be an interesting fourth quarter. We have some challenges we are facing, and we want to make sure that we continue this dialogue and get as prepared as possible with you and your teams, with our teams, and making sure that we have a smooth, busy season. So with that, we'll head into the next chart here. Oh, actually, we're going to talk about trend and utilization. So as I said, there's a lot of challenges that we're facing. It's not specific to Blue Cross. It is to our state of Michigan. You're going to see a lot of higher rate increases than you've seen in the past years. A lot of that is driven by the cost of in and outpatient services. There's lots of additional surgical and medical spend that's happening. There's a lot of professional services that we're now seeing higher facility charges, hospital systems buying up, different offices. There's psychiatric services and more office administered drugs. So those are also increasing our trends. And then the big elephant in the room is our pharmacy. Pharmacy, as it is such a benefit to those that need it, but it does cost a lot of money. And I know, that we've always been talking about cost in the pharmacy space, drivers in that area, but we've seen a lot of uptick, not only with the GLP-1s, which, as many of you know, that we've kind of curtailed in the Blue Cross world, but also a lot of new autoimmune drugs. There's also, some new drugs on the market for cystic fibrosis, some higher ones that, are really amazing if you or your family member needs them, but they are a lifelong drug and they do cost a lot of money. So a lot of these different therapies are really causing a lot of uptick in the trends that we'll talk about here. So let's move to the next slide and talk about what we're looking at. So fourth quarter, we came out with these a little while ago, but just wanted to reiterate, and this is always a good opportunity to look at the regionality. I know we come out with a lot of broad communications about rates, and it's an average. And so this kind of breaks it down more specifically to your area. We did refile for PPO for third and fourth quarter. So you see right here that composite is a 10.6% for third quarter and then 11.3% for fourth quarter. I will say that our competitors have all been in the same boat where they've been refiling. So I know, this is a shock. It's not something that we want to be talking about and coming out with, but we are right in line with a lot of our local and even national competitors in this space here in Michigan. So a lot of opportunity here. We, want to make sure that we are staying close to you guys. As Carrie mentioned, the teams are ready to support. There are the 2 dedicated teams. If you have a dedicated rep or there's a pod team that is dedicated and waiting for you to call in, and all of them have accessibility to benchmarking tools, some different reporting and things that they can help you with if you are in a pinch. But make sure you're staying close to our teams. We want to be able to support you and service you as best you can as you're working with your customers and our members. So next slide. On the HMO side, we did not refile for fourth quarter, so a little bit lower when you're looking at this. The third quarter at 6.6% and fourth quarter at 7.1%. There's, some of our other competitors are following a little bit of a strategy of possibly moving some renewal dates. There is that strategy out there. So just wanted to throw that out there because these aren't looking as bad as some of the things that you're seeing. Like I said, we're trying to make sure that we're setting you guys up for success. We didn't want to put anything in writing about our competitors, but they're all kind of in the same boat. And so we're all heading into that double-digit space here. But for our HMO, we did not refile for 2024. So again, you can see the regionality, those kind of break into not only the demographics, but then the area rating factors that kind of break down what we're seeing in each of those individual spaces. Next slide. So large group community rated. Now our ERS and ASO groups, that's all based on their experience of those groups. But for large group community rated, it's the trend of the pool, or the experience of the pool rather. And then the trends seem to follow suit with all of our upmarket business as well. But this kind of shows a little bit of a breakdown. You can see the medical and the RX on the PPO and HMO side, as well as our specialty benefits of dental and vision. But it's not solely focused on the experience of the group. It's influenced by the pool. So just kind of putting that out there as you're starting to talk to your groups about what they're seeing. And then we'll talk about those trends here in a second. So next slide. So Q1 2025. So small group, if you can keep clicking, yeah. As Carrie mentioned, we do cover a lot of the state of Michigan, and you guys being a part of SBAM, that dedication to these small businesses in the state, and we're all here to help. And so we do want to make sure that we are getting this out so that you are ready and prepared to talk to your groups. I know this is a huge hit as you start talking to some small business owners. And we want to make sure that we're tooling you with the right toolbox to make sure to handle those conversations. So, heading into first quarter, we are going to be at around 12% for PPO and about 11% for HMO. And this is all community rated small group. So this includes any estimates for risk adjustment transfers, as well as any, changes to trends that we've been trying to work on from our administrative side. Next slide, please. So small group, here's the regionality outlook. Again, this is, breaking it down by area. And so you can see those area factors and where they kind of fall into play. Some changes that are happening. I know our UP is seeing a little bit higher of an uptick on the PPO side due to the UP rider going away. There's some other things that are happening. Unfortunately, you're seeing some higher and then some lower in different areas. But this breaks this down, and we'll make sure that that SBAM gets these slides so that we can share those with you so that you can reference this. But just know that the reps are there to work with you, and they can make sure they can run benchmarking that can show, okay, you have a higher concentration in this area. Let's take a look at, your group of renewals and start strategizing on how you're going to approach this. I'm going to talk a few minutes about some options product wise that you can work towards to get, some ratings down. But just there's a lot of opportunity here to start that dialogue with your groups, with your sales reps, and make sure that we're all collaborating together as we head into this busy season. Next slide. So large group community rated trends, again, a little bit higher than what we talked about for fourth quarter. So PPOs at almost 13%, HMOs at 12. This is reflective of the changes that we made to the GLP-1 drugs. So that piece is taken out, and that is taken into consideration as we start preparing for 2025. And then, you'll see it's pretty comparable to what we're talking about in the ACA space as well. So again, working on those benchmarking opportunities. The other thing too is when you get those large group community rated renewals, make sure you're talking to the reps, because they can work with the underwriters, and they're really good about giving you, talking points around what's driving these, specific to that group, if there's any changes, because there are year over year changes, whether that's age or, demographics, if people are moving around. So there is a good opportunity there that, it's not going to be an easy conversation, but at least we can tool you with the talking points so that you can explain the different varieties of what you're seeing with these renewals. So as I talked about, so product considerations, we spend every year a lot of time talking through once the AV calculator is released, making sure that products fall into place, and then where we see opportunities for new products or portfolios. We have our PCP Focus Network, a wide range of options for the large group market. It's a little bit more constrained for small group based on those AV calculators, but it's eligible in 20 counties. So that's a really good opportunity to add if you're looking to get that price point down for your groups. We are also rolling out some additional Blue Elect Plus products. We have 5 new products coming out in 25. This is the highest growing space that we have in our product portfolio. So just know that if you're not talking to your groups about this, other agents might be. So if you're not familiar, let us know. We can get together with you, get some information for you. But this is a significant cost cutting when you're looking at groups that are with any of our PPO portfolio, Simply Blue or Community Blue. There is in and out of state availability. And then, like I said, there's a lot of new options coming as well. And then just from a base buy up and buy down, we, again, want to have that continued dialogue with you, because those reps can help you. The managers, myself, we're ready to step in and assist you guys. We understand we have a lot of headwinds here, a lot of challenges we're all going to be facing. These are not going to be fun conversations. It's going to be very tough on the small group community as a whole. And so just know that we're here to help support you. Another one good news story is that, each year, again, as we try to get the portfolio in a place that aligns with the actuarial value calculator, we have to make tweaks to get those to fall in those certain levels, the metallic levels. And fortunately, this year, 75% of our total small group portfolio will not be crosswalked. So there was no changes made. So a lot less movement there. So that's one, less factor to contend with as you're having this dialogue about some of the increases. Next slide. So that is all we had prepared today. I know I've seen a couple questions come through. Looks like a lot of it is, we have some questions about the UP rider. Brian, I know you've been working with Heather Huerta, so we can chat offline. But yeah, if you don't know already, we are removing that UP rider that was put in place when we were trying to contend with out-of-state carriers. It hasn't really been making the impact that we had hoped that it would make. And so just really, make sure that you're staying close. If you do have business up in the UP, we can get you additional talking points around that as well. So, but I think that was all the questions that I saw that came through. I don't know, Michelle, if you saw anything else.
And Amanda, I was just gonna, oh, sorry, Michelle.
No, go ahead, Carrie.
Go ahead, Carrie.
I was just gonna add in too, I think also just calling out like some important dates. So just as reminders to all of you, I know we're all, stretched thin a bit coming into fourth quarter. We want to make sure that you all just have perspectives into dates to be working towards. So, I think Amanda mentioned it before, but in the large group community rated space, renewals are released 120 days prior to the renewal date, and then in small group, it's 90 days prior, and those are released through one source from a small group standpoint. And then as we look at deadlines to ensure the most optimal experience for you and your members, if you want to ensure that ID cards are in hand, if you are making benefit changes or adding new business, our ID card deadline is December 6th. So enrollment needs to be submitted into systems, and it needs to be done accurately by December 6th in order to guarantee ID cards in hand. And then if you do have group customers who are changing into a health equity, so any of those HSA plans, HRA, from a health equity standpoint, if you want to ensure that debit cards are in hand for members, that date is November 22nd. So I just want to make sure we call those out. You know, obviously from a small group standpoint, and even large group community rated, we will work with you in the small group space. Now that we've, deployed one source, there is so much more flexibility to ensure that you can get your customers in with the January 1st effective date. So I think our deadline there is the 20th of the month. So December 20th for January 1st from an effective date, but that obviously doesn't guarantee hard physical cards are in hand. There's virtual cards members can access, but want to make sure we call that out at a high level. We do have some materials we'll make sure Michelle and team are equipped with that captures these dates. So you don't need to frantically write this down. It's something we're going to continue to push in the market, but I just wanted to call it out here as we're all starting to plan for fourth quarter. I know we're not yet to Labor Day, but I know it's fast and furious once we hit that date. So just want to make sure we orient all of you with some of those key dates that you should keep top of mind to ensure the best experience. So with that said, Michelle, I'll turn it.
Yeah, actually, real quick, Carrie, that's a good call out, is just to also, reiterate, as we're talking about these double-digit increases, there's going to be a lot of volume. And so to Carrie's point, trying to hit those dates, but just knowing that everyone's going to be quoting. Again, seems like the norm across the board with all of the competitors. So we'll see a lot of quoting volume coming from all over the place. So just know that we're all here, hands on deck, ready and waiting. But the sooner that you can get those discussions started, the sooner that we can start talking about those, that would be great. I know I do see a question in the chat around moving dates. We can talk with your rep about what that would look like. It wouldn't be an alternate renewal. So we won't be able to redo renewals, but just know that, we can try to talk about moving calendar year, work with your reps and the managers, and then we can have that conversation. So other than that, just, we're here to support you. We understand that we're all facing a very challenging fourth quarter, and we hope that you rely on us. One of the things that I just hate is when you start talking to people and they're like, we've been working on this for 4 weeks or 6 weeks. It's like, no, make sure that you're having this dialogue so that we can be sure to be walking alongside of you through this whole process. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Michelle.
I see Brian has one more question. He's been told by the Marquette office that the Blue Elect Plus doesn't work the same in the UP. Could you?
Yeah, we'll get that information to you, Brian. I'm not fully in all of the details on how that would work, so we'll make sure that Heather and team get those details to you. So, and if anybody else has business in the UP, please reach out and we'll make sure that we get those to you as well.
Yep, I know that the increases up there are going to be challenging as well. So what we can do to help our UP friends, we will make sure that we get that up to you and have the resources you need. So the good segue into kind of this slide that we have up here, wanted to kind of share a little bit more about what SBAM plans to do going into this renewal season. We also have, obviously, many of you have groups with us. So thank you for those of you that have business in our book of business. We will also be helping you through this process. If you need to talk through some strategy. We happen to know, where your benefits of your existing groups are and the recommendations that Blues has. So we'll be sending out some more education and specific in your particular SBAM book to help you with strategy as you go into this renewal season as well. We also, just so we have a member care team here. Many of the team has I mean, we've got 20+ years of experience in supporting insurance agents in one capacity or another, and their contact information is at the bottom of the slide. You can contact us and create a ticket at our customer service portal, or you can just call the number and someone live will be there to help you with anything that you might need. We, just as a reminder too, that we have a very strong SBAM life and disability pool. It is performing very well. This pool has been around for over 30 years, so it's solvent and independent. It is underwritten through Dearborn, but it is made up of exclusively SBAM members. And it is incredibly, particularly competitive in the under 10 market. So, and we do go down to 1 in size for groups as well. So if you're looking for life or disability quotes, please reach out to the team. We'd be happy to quote your business as you're going into renewal season as well. We also, just as a reminder, we to support your Blue Cross book of business, if your group is part of the SBAM family, we can and will service your book of business for free. That means helping with processing for new business and group-wide change quoting, the actual enrollment process, and what needs to be done on OneSource for you and your team members, and then that ongoing maintenance support. And then for those of you, I know we've talked about it before, but SBAM has kind of a creative way that we can handle, especially for those of you that have small group that's in that 20+ space, that is very hard to set up a defined contribution strategy for your employers when you have age ranges on singles, 2 persons, and families that are all over the place. We have a composite rate solution for small group that we can not only help you with that calculation, but then generate an invoice to your employer that matches that single, 2 person and family rate composition. So if you want more information, just send me an email and we'll make sure that we get the details for you. So I know that was a lot of information and I hope it was worthwhile. We wanted to make sure that we're continuing to have this conversation, that you know the resources that are available to you on your agent portal, as well as through all of your partners and your humans that are here to support you, whether it's on the Blue Cross sales team or here at SBAM. We're constantly connecting with each other to make sure that we're supporting not only the mission of Blue, but also the mission for small businesses in the state of Michigan. So with that, to my friends Carrie and Amanda, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. And to all of my agent partners, thank you for being here. And we will be sending out a recording of this webinar to you probably by the end of the day, if not tomorrow. So you'll have all of this information available as well.
Thank you
Have
all.
a great day, everybody.
Everyone.
Thanks,
Bye.
Michelle.
Bye-bye.